All right, in part 2 now of our Magic 8-Ball program, we're actually going to add a replay function. So I'm going to start down here. Let me highlight this. I'm going to start down here on line 15, where we had our answers printing to the user, and the computer is choosing a random answer from our list of 5 options. So at the end of line 15, I'm going to hit my return or enter key. And then this is where we're going to include in our Magic 8-Ball function a place where we're going to call the new function we're going to create. And we're going to call it replay. So I'm just going to type this in here. And then I'm going to hit enter or return a couple times. And on this new line, I need to backspace. Oh, there we go. All the way up against the left side of the screen. We're going to create another function. So we're going to start with define, DEF, the function that we're calling replay, colon, enter. Okay, so the first thing we're going to have the replay function do is ask if there's another question. So we're going to use that print function, and then inside parentheses and inside quotation marks, we're going to print out a message to the user. So after they've already asked a question, gotten an answer, we're going to say, do you have another question? Question mark, question mark. And then we're going to tell them how they should respond in this case so that our computer can use the concept of selection to look at one of these two responses to know what to do next. So we're going to prompt our user to use either a yes or no. Oops. Oops. Again, in brackets. And do like this. Maybe we'll change this Y or N. Something like this, maybe. We'll try that. Let's print it out and see what it looks like so far. All right, so what's your name? So I'm testing my program over here. Possibly. Do you have another question? Yes or no? I don't love how that works or looks with the question mark here, so I'm actually going to delete that out. Why don't we just keep it a yes or a no? The other thing I noticed as we were running that test is that when it answered me, it immediately then printed the replay question. I kind of wanted to pause a little bit there. So I'm going to come back inside this magic ball function, and I'm going to put a little pause here before it runs the replay function. So this is where we're going to use sleep. And let's have it sleep for, let's try 2 seconds. And let's test that and see what that looks like. So run, hello, what is your name? Okay, type in my name. Ask me a question. Will it be cold out today? No way. Pauses for 2 and then asks the replay question. Great. So far, so good. All right, let's go back here to line 20, the end of line 20, hit return or enter, and then we're going to write a few more instructions here for our computer. Okay, so on this line, we're going to create a variable that's going to store the user's response, either yes or no, they want to play again. So we're going to call that reply. And then we're going to set that equal to input. And remember, input just to the computer, that means whatever the user has typed in as an answer. So reply will equal user's input. And now we're going to use selection so that the computer is going to first check, did they give us a Y or did they give us a no, a Y or an N, excuse me, and then do something based on that. So we'll say here, this is your if-then statement. If reply equals yes, and it should be a capital Y or a capital N because that's what we're prompting the user to input, colon. Then we can, if they say yes, they want to play again, then we're going to call that magic ball function again. So it'll go back to ask me a question. And then enter. All right, let's fix something I just noticed here. So here on line 22, my first part of my if statement here, I put if reply equals. So what we need to do actually, we actually just use that equals there, right? When we're setting up a variable or a list. Here, when we're looking for an exact answer, we need to use a double equal sign. Oh, double equal sign, there we go. And then here we're gonna put that Y in quotation marks. So we're looking for the exact capital Y, then run magic 8 ball. Okay, and then now I'm gonna enter down and I have to actually backspace because this should line up with my if. And I'm gonna say otherwise, or the way we say that is like elif reply is, oops, no, capital N. Then we're gonna use a function called exit to just kind of end the program. Now we're also going to put in a third option so that if they type in something other than yes or no, it will move to this third function. So we'll type else. Okay, else colon, and then we're going to print a message. So we'll just say apologies. I did not understand. Please reply Y or N, something like that. Okay, so let's test out what we have so far. Okay, actually, before we do that, let's hit enter here. And then we're gonna call our function for replay here as well. So that final else statement we said is going to prompt them to try again if they originally put in something other than a Y or an N for yes or no. If they type something that doesn't fall into those categories, the computer is going to go back to the beginning of the replay function and again say, do you have another question? So let's test this a bit. Oh, okay, Ms. Hawes. Will it rain? No way. Do you have another question? I'm going to say no. And it just ends the program. Now we can try it one more time and say yes. Will it rain? Yes, absolutely. Do you have another question? Yes. And it asked me a question. Great. Okay. And then one more test. Run it. Okay, name. Hello. Ask me a question. Will it rain? Okay, now we want to answer something not Y or N to see if it... There we go. Beautiful.